It is Mornings with Kreitlow on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. Last night, I hope you were with us as we continued our coverage this summer of Wausau Post 10 American Legion Softball. Our second broadcast last evening. It was a great night over at Wausau East. In fact, the Post 10 and Post 492 from DC Everest, both the softball and the baseball teams are together. There was at Wausau East, you got the Ball Diamonds right next to each other. Had a doubleheader, had the junior league and the senior leagues, back-to-back games, and free food, free hot dogs, free hamburgers, free beverages. A lot of folks came out. The rain held off, so it was a really nice night and a great night of softball and baseball where the DC Everest and the Wausau American Legion communities came together. In the game that we had here on 98.9 WXCO, it was DC Everest Post 492 defeating Post 10 by a score of 9-3. So Wausau now 1-2 on the season. We will have our next broadcast of Wausau Post 10 softball next Wednesday when they host Tomahawk. Tomahawk will come to Sunnyvale, and we'll have the coverage next Wednesday, starting with the pregame show at 6:20 and the first pitch at 6:30. And if you missed last night's broadcast or any of our recent broadcasts of play-by-play, you can get it as a podcast. Just search WXCO Sports on Spotify, Google, or Apple Podcasts. You can also get there by going to WXCO Sports through WXCO.FM and civicmedia.us. Click on shows and then scroll down and find WXCO Sports and click on that to get previous broadcasts as well. On the baseball side last night, it was Wausau Post 10 shutting down DC Everest Post 492 by a score of 3-0. Northwoods League, great comeback last night for the Wausau Woodchucks. They were down in Mequon taking on the Lakeshore Chinooks. Trailed late, but came back with 3 runs in the 9th inning to beat the Chinooks by a score of 6-5. So the Woodchucks remain 1/2 game behind Madison in the standings. Madison defeated Wisconsin Rapids by a score of 3-1 last night. So the Woodchucks are now 14-8 on the season, while the Mallards are 14-7. So a good battle here in the first half of the season in the Great Lakes West. Meantime, it was not quite as successful last night for the Wausau Ignite Northwoods League softball team. The Ignite fell to La Crosse by a score of 19-6. So been a bit of a slow start for the Ignite in their first season, but still plenty of time to turn things around. The Ignite are 2-6 on the season. I was looking at the Northwoods League softball standings and got some interesting nicknames. You want to hear some of these names?
Yes, I do.
Because you got the Ignite, which is pretty straightforward, I think, actually. But you got the team that's in first place right now is from Madison. The team name is the Nightmares. 2 words. The Madison Nightmares.
Oh, is that like the horse?
I don't know. That's actually a good question. That's a good question because it's night
play on words.
Yeah, because it's actually because I think nightmare, the dreams are 1 word, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, nightmares, I believe, is 2 words.
Yeah, the nightmares.
You're talking about that. You're talking about the horses.
Yep. Oh, very interesting. I did not know that. Mankato's team is named and it's I think it's either habaneros or habaneros. It's with an H.
Habaneros. Yeah.
So I have no idea what that means. Do you know what that is?
I believe that's a pepper, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Habanero peppers are something you put on your burgers to make them more spicy.
You learn something new every day. And then you got the Minot Honeybees. The Honeybees.
That's actually a cool name.
I've never heard one that. I like that. And I like them when they have an S on it. I'm not a big fan without an S.
Plural. Yeah, just a single.
And then you have a single, lacrosse Steam. How can you be known as Steam?
Lacrosse
Steam.
I'm not sure about that.
I don't know either. So that's those are, and then of course the Ignite here in Wausau. So those are the teams in the Northwoods League. They have 5 teams right now in softball, and I'm sure they will expand those as the league continues to grow. So again, if you have an opportunity, get out to Athletic Park, see both the Woodchucks and the Ignite during the course of the summer. And again, there's so many great activities to take part in during the course of the summer months.
It'd be interesting to see if those teams have mascots and what they look like. I bet the Nightmares is probably a big horse and the Habaneros is just like a big pepper.
I think that would be fun to see. I think that's another reason to go on out and to be able to see some of the games going on. And of course, we talked earlier in the show to Julie Bowman about the big event tomorrow from 10 a.m. until noon. Dairy Month exploration over at the Children's Imaginarium just across the way here in downtown. If you missed our discussion, again, you can catch it as a podcast coming up as well.
That's right.
But before we wrap things up this morning, we need to always finish up with our number for the day quiz with Ian Welsh.
Yes.
You are 2 for 3 this week, so you've already got a passing grade. And now we're going to try to clinch a winning week.
Yes.
And do you remember what our topic is?
Pokemon.
Pokemon!
I grew up on a Pokemon.
Well,
I
then,
still remember the original.
Maybe you will know this then. Our number for the day is a big number.
Okay.
The number of cards published in the Pokemon franchise since its debut.
Ooh.
All right, here are your choices.
Okay.
Your choices are 25 billion, 45 billion, 65 billion.
Well, there is a lot of Pokemon cards out there. 25 million, 45
billion.
Sorry, a billion. Thank you. 25 billion, 45 billion, or 65 billion. You know what? I'm going to say, let's go on my gut here. I'm going to say 65 billion. I'm going with the biggest number. I'd say is my final answer. I'm going to say 65 billion.
All right. Number of cards published in the Pokemon franchise since its debut is 65 billion.
Yes. Awesome.
3 out of 4 this week. You are a red hot right now.
Winning week.
We'll go for an A grade tomorrow.
Awesome.
All right. Well, have a great rest of your day.
You too, Chad. Happy Thursday, everybody.
We'll be back tomorrow morning. Part of Mornings with Pat Kreitlow here on 98.9 WXCO.